Amazing.
Wait, since you were in a relationship for 10 years and now you just recently came back onto the scene, what were some of the biggest realizations that you had as you got back on into the field, per se?
Well, that if you have high status and that if you make a lot of money, you're going to get a lot more girls than if you don't.
Right.
Because think of it, I've been in a relationship for 10 years. So I'm 48
Mhm.
years old. The last time I was single, I think I was 37. And so the girls, or let's say the caliber or the attractiveness scale or the sexual market value of the women who are interested in me at 48 are much higher than when I was 38. Now, when I was 38, I was a school teacher. I still had a decent job, but I certainly wasn't making six figures. And so
And
I
you didn't have the
realized,
following either.
yeah, I have a lot more fame, people know about me, and a heck of a lot more money, and so obviously there's a lot more interest. But I mean, obviously, if you have 2 million followers, there's a certain percentage those are women, and if you have a certain percentage of women who watch 1,000 of your videos, there's going to be some of them that are interested in you, and they like your personality, your character, and so they're going to be of interest. And so people make these videos. There's no woman that would be interested in me under age of 40. I'm like, do you know how many girls under 30 are chasing after me? These people have no idea. It makes me laugh that they think that there's no woman that would be interested.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. You had another video which I thought was great, which the hot girl seeing what it's like to be an average man. They've done some other experiments with this where they give a woman the ability to run a man's dating profile, and they'll say the most crass things. They'll open up and just say the most weird, crass things, and when then they find out that the average man is 5'9", they're totally blown away. Because one of the things I thought that was really interesting, I had Justin Waller on here last week, is that we as men, even if a woman isn't attractive to us, we see her. We still see her. We still see if grandma is by the side of the road and needs her tire is flat. We still see grandma. But it's often there's another video where a woman is being asked what's your favorite type of guy, and she'll try to describe it, and then the guy will be, what about that guy right there? And she's like, what guy? He's like, that guy right there. And he's like, you mean behind the mailman? And she's like, no, I mean the mailman. It's like she doesn't see him. She like literally, it's not one of these things where she's like, I feel that he's unattractive. Like the guy who gave her the Chick-fil-A at the drive-thru, she doesn't remember that he was a man. She doesn't remember anything about his existence. And I just like thought that it was an interesting concept when you come to this realization, and then now you have a hot girl trying to see what it's like for an average man to be on a dating app and how difficult it is.
Yeah, and I actually watched the same episodes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And women, they have no idea. And I don't even think men realize this. But for example, as a man with 2 million followers, there's only a few girls who are in my DMs chasing after me. A few. If you're a girl with no followers, you have 50 men chasing after you on any given week. If you go on a dating app, you're going to be shown, if you're a woman, 100 guys in a week that are chasing after you. As a man, a couple. So the difference is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It is kind of crazy. The other part I wanted to talk about was a really astute observation that you had, me being a performance coach, is that the dating apps, when they first started, there were some attractive women that were on there. But as time went on and those attractive women kept like fucking Brock the bartender and then not getting called back, over time that they started leaving the apps. This is the experience that I've seen when you see it's like 6 men to every one of the dating apps, and also from like talking to really attractive women here in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Dallas, Miami, different places I've been. When I talk to them, they're like, yeah, I was on these dating apps for a bit and then I got off. And then you mentioned that Instagram is like the top dating app. Again, it's just something empirically I've seen over and over again to be accurate, where whenever I talk to the most attractive women, it's either one of their female friends introducing them, or they meet the guy on a date on Instagram, and generally they'll look at the guy and see some of their female friends are following, like kind of pre-selection. And so I thought it was an interesting thing where you're talking about like fixing your Instagram being more important than being on a dating app.
Oh, yeah, I went on the dating apps and I would spend, 6 hours and look at 500 girls and be like, there's 2 that I could maybe date. And I'm like, what's the point? And they're not even going to message me back because I'm 48 years old and 5'6". So why would they have any interest in me whatsoever? So it's useless. Instagram, you can message anyone you want. You can look at their profile. You can decide. Are they just posting thirst trap photos? Are they just escorts? Are they prostitutes? Are they looking for a relationship? You can see everything about a woman's life on their front page. You look at the first 9 pictures. You can decide, what kind of woman is this? Is this a girl to have sex with for one night? Is this a wife material, girlfriend material? What kind of woman is this? Very easy. You write them in their DMs, and it's a dating app.
Well, I think there's another part. Everything you're saying is correct, but I think there's another part, and that is I can maintain frame of I'm just living my life, and then you get to observe me in through my stories. Whereas if I'm on a dating app, there's an express intent for short-term sexual access. Regardless of what these women want to say themselves, those dating apps are mostly for short-term sexual access. Attractive women do not need dating apps for short-term sexual access. What they need dating apps for is to get guys to go down their OnlyFans funnel or to try to find sugar daddies. That's what they're generally looking for. And a lot of guys don't like to hear this. They're on there and they're like, Michael, I don't understand why I'm matching with these girls and then they don't like me. And I'm like, did she try to get you to go to her OF? And he's like, yeah. I was like, that's all that was for. You never even spoke to her. You spoke to a dude in the Philippines who's like taking over her app and then doing this, and you don't even grasp what's going on. And then when you get on her OnlyFans, it's the same guy from the Philippines who's still messaging you and giving you this information. So it's one of these really, really crazy things where women have become so attuned to male desperation that they're now using these things for showing, images on dating apps, showing images on OnlyFans, and showing images on Instagram.
Yeah, one thing I noticed with Instagram and some of the girls I've messaged in the past is most of them are actually just looking for men to give them money.
Yeah.
So when you get very attractive women, like the level of woman that I'm going to want to date, most of them already have boyfriends and they're only on Instagram to show pictures because they're hoping men are going to simp for them and give them money.
Yeah.
They're selling nudes, they have OnlyFans, they're secretly doing this, secretly doing that. That's the reality. If you're exceptionally beautiful and you don't have a job and it looks like you have a decent life, then how are you getting this money to do what you're doing? How are you flying off here? How are you in this yacht? How are you doing these things? Somebody's paying for these things.
Right.
I think one of the things that I try to talk to my guys about is the concept of attention versus compliance, where often what'll happen is, we as men don't know quite what it's like to get the pang, the evolutionary dopamine hit that women get from getting attention from men. Because as men, while we like attention from women, we like sex from women more, meaning men will get validation from the women we have sex with and a lack of validation from women who lead us on 4, 5, 6 dates and then don't have sex with us. Women, on the other hand, I do my show here, Access Vegas, we'll have 10 women on, and I'll be like, how many of you guys have gone on a date with a guy and knew you weren't going to have sex with him? And all of them raise their hand. And then I ask all the guys in the room, how many of you guys have gone on a date with a girl and knew you didn't want to have sex with her? And none of them raised their hand. And so I think what happens a lot of times that I have to explain to my clients is just because she's giving you attention, you think that leads to sexual access. But women have this middle area where they can get attention from men, and I used to manage a strip club, and I used to watch how women would get these dopamine hits from making money from men tipping them, but they weren't dating these men. It was just the attention and the validation of their physical attractiveness, getting them this attention. But as men, we don't grasp that because we don't need that it's nice getting attention from women. I admit that, but our validation comes way more from the women that want to have sex with us or have genuine desire to have sex with us.
Well, what you see is on Instagram in particular, look at their videos on their stories and look at their posts that they're making. Are they showing their asses? How sexual are those photos? Because that is for validation, full stop. There's no other reason. And what they're getting is 50 DMs saying, wow, you are hot. Look at you. Look at your body. You're looking amazing. And that's what they're thriving on. Now, some women who have traumatic past, perhaps they had, improper education from their parents or something happened to them, they're abused or what have you, and they'll go for that validation even further, and they'll use sexual validation. These are the women who are sleeping with hundreds and in the thousands of men. Mm-hmm. They've had very corrupt childhoods. That happens all the time.
Hey, if you want to connect with influencers, top models, and high-status gentlemen, click the link below and I will show you how, absolutely for free.